So it's been about 6 days since I last went to the grocery store, and my goal this week is to just maybe not spend any money on groceries, or to see if I can at least keep our grocery budget like maybe $20, less than $20, and just really shop my kitchen this week and see how close to zero I can come. And so that's what I'm going to be doing this evening, is just an inventory of what I have in my kitchen. I'm just going to look at what I have, and I'm just going to try to come up with 5 different meals so that there's a meal to eat each night through the week. We usually have leftovers for lunch or sandwiches or something like that, and sometimes we will have leftovers for dinner. And so if I just come up with 5 or 6 different meals, that'll be enough. But tonight I'm going to make some chicken fried rice because I have leftover chicken thighs in the fridge. I have some rice cooking, and I'm pretty sure I have a bag of frozen mixed vegetables, so I can whip up some fried rice with some egg and chicken and all that, and use up some of the leftovers before they go bad. I also had my father-in-law drop off some cucumbers, and we have cucumbers growing in our garden as well, and so I do not want to let all of my cucumbers go to waste. I'm definitely going to use this zucchini, make some zucchini bread this week. Let's get this food party started. We're starting a food party. So when I began filming last week, I started by making the chicken fried rice that I had mentioned. To use up my leftover chicken thighs in the fridge, I just heated up some olive oil and fried up some chopped onion with a couple of eggs. And I'm getting this mixed up for a very simple, fast, delicious meal. Once I got my onions sauteing with the egg, I just add in a cup of my frozen mixed vegetables. They're not thawed out at all. And the chopped chicken thighs. Get those all mixed in. Add in my cooked rice. This is just 1 cup of cooked rice. So I think about 2 cups once it's cooked. And throw in a couple tablespoons of butter with some sesame oil and liquid aminos. And just got all that stirred up, and this dinner was ready to go in less than 15 minutes. You guys, if you have leftover chicken, what a great dinner. I mean, the rice took longer, but that took just moments to prepare. It was so yummy. And we had leftovers. So for breakfast the next morning, the baby and I shared this. I just had a couple of bars of shredded wheat spread with some peanut butter and a sliced banana with some chia seeds and honey, and just topped that with some milk. Then for lunch we had grilled cheese sandwiches, and sorry about that shake, the baby's trying to steal my phone. And I served the grilled cheese up with some chicken soup. I just had some canned soup in the pantry, so that was just out of a can. And we had soup and sandwiches for lunch that day. Then for dinner that night, I made up some macaroni and cheese. I had roasted acorn squash that afternoon, and so I'm going to sneak in a little extra vegetables into this dish. I cooked up 1/2 pound of ground sausage, and I'm just melting some butter so that I can make a roux for the macaroni and cheese. Once my butter is all melted, I add in a couple tablespoons of flour here. And I let that cook for about a minute and stir it up before I pour in my milk. And once this has a chance to thicken just a little bit, I add in 1/2 of my roasted acorn squash. It roasted up nice and soft, so I didn't need to puree it or anything. I just scooped it straight out of its skin. And so this is 1/2 of an acorn squash that I just stir in there. Season it with a little salt and pepper. Get all that stirred in, and then I will add in about a cup of Colby Jack cheese that's all shredded up. and my pasta noodles. So you didn't see me add in the cheese or the pasta noodles, but those both got added in there before I put it into this 9x9 baking dish. And I'm just going to top off the mac and cheese with the ground sausage. And then after I get the sausage on the top, I just add on the breadcrumbs that I made from some leftover sourdough bread that I had. Gave it another little topping of some more shredded cheese so it's extra cheesy and yummy, and baked that for about 20 minutes at my oven set at 350 degrees, and just served it up with some Caesar salad. And that was super delicious. We enjoyed this dinner. Had leftovers of that as well. And the next morning for breakfast, I decided to make up some biscuits. These are just regular old biscuits with flour and butter and milk and some baking powder and salt. And I like to press and fold so I can get some nice flaky biscuits. And after I get my biscuit dough all pressed down, then I just cut these out and get them put onto a cookie sheet so I can get those baking. And while the biscuits are baking, I prepare the rest of our breakfast, which simply is a couple of sausage patties. I'm just cooking up the other half pound of ground sausage from the previous night, and I cook this up with a couple of fried eggs over medium. And after I give my eggs a flip, then I just top each of them with a slice of Swiss cheese that we had in the fridge. These biscuits came out so good, you guys. The baby and I shared the biscuits with an egg and a little bit of sausage for breakfast. And then for lunch, we just had some leftover macaroni and cheese from the night before with a biscuit and some grapes. That evening, I started defrosting some more chicken thighs to make some chicken noodle soup. So I chopped up the partially defrosted chicken thighs and cooked that into some heated up olive oil and melted butter that I'm heating up on the stove, and just added in my chopped chicken with some chopped onion and chopped carrots. And I have a couple of minced cloves of garlic in there as well. And so I just get all this sauteing on the stove. And once my chicken gets cooked through, then I season with some salt and pepper and go ahead and add in some chicken stock. I wanted a little bit more liquid in here, and we didn't have any more chicken stock, so I just went ahead and added in a couple cups more of water with my egg noodles and let that cook up. Served it with a leftover biscuit. And the next morning, I skipped breakfast and just had coffee, but the baby had some chopped peaches and some Cheerios, and so she snacked on that. And for lunch, I just made a turkey sandwich. We had that with some cheddar puffs and some grapes. And then for dinner, we just had leftover chicken noodle soup, and I had the last biscuit. I didn't end up filming this, but I had made some red beans and rice. I cooked up a big pot of red beans that day, and I served that with some cornbread and some sauteed broccoli. The baby really enjoyed this meal, and so did Mom and Dad. We loved it. And then the week got away from me, and I didn't end up filming any more of the meals that I made, but I had also made like a Mexican casserole dish. I had some ground beef, and I browned that up and seasoned it with like taco seasoning, and put in some summer squash and zucchini and some cheese, and just kind of layered that between some tortillas, and we had like a Mexican casserole one night. And I also had made some salmon that I baked up with a creamy dill sauce and roasted red potatoes and broccoli. And then I had also made some bean and cheese burritos using the leftover red beans from the red beans and rice. And so here I also finally got the chance near the end of the week to get my cucumbers all cut up and thrown into the jars and covered up with the brine. And so those are in the refrigerator now. I'll be trying them probably tomorrow. I'm so excited to taste them. I also ended up pickling a little bit of jalapeno and onion in with that. And I even did make some zucchini bread, made a regular loaf and a chocolate loaf, and those were so delicious. And by week's end, we did end up spending $11.26. We bought milk, bread, and grapes to get us through the week. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you next week. God bless you.